if they just had used it for something good. So I don't care how much of a tough relationship that you have with your son, with your daughter, and how much they're messing up in school or they're not. You have to find some good and something to value and hold on to. And that's number one, very simple point. Number two now, gets a little deeper. You have to be able to focus on feelings. When you deal with your children, focus on their feelings. Something that's very hard for a lot of us. You know, I was sharing this last night at Islamic Center of Irving, and I talked about this. I was talking about communication there, and I talked about this. At the Battle of Hunayn, just 2 weeks after the conquest of Mecca, the Muslims, they go to Taif, and they have a very difficult fight. The people of Taif put up a very strong fight. They didn't recognize it. And so Rasulullah said, relied on the Ansar to be able to back him up. And they fought this war. Eventually they won. And after the war was over, Rasulullah was distributing the war booties. I want you to pay attention very carefully. After the war is over, the Ansar, they fought really hard, supporting Rasulullah. And Rasulullah is distributing the war booties. So he calls up Abu Sufyan, 100 camels. Calls up another Qurayshi, gives him 100 camels. Now the Ansar are looking around, they're saying, Ya Rasulullah, they're thinking to themselves, we fought the war. Our swords are still drawn. And Rasulullah is giving away the war booties to his people. So now they start to feel something. So Sa'd ibn Ubadah comes to Rasulullah, Ya Rasulullah, your people are upset with you. He said, why? He said, the way you are distributing the war booty, you're just giving it to the Quraysh, your people. So he said, is that it? I want you to gather all the Ansar. So he gathers all the Ansar, and I want you to listen to what he said. When he gathered them, he could have explained that, listen, the reason why I'm giving out the war booties this way is because I'm trying to earn favors with the Qurayshis, and especially the new Muslims. I want to give them gifts so I can hold on to them. But he doesn't say that. He gathers the Ansar and he says, Ansar, I came to you as a fugitive. You took me in. I came to you hungry. You fed me. I came to you dejected, rejected. You took my ally. He said, Ansar, are you concerned about the wealth of this life? When these people, they leave with their camels, you will leave with the Messenger of Allah. He said, if the people were to go in one valley and the Ansar were to go another valley, I would follow you. You see, he addressed the emotion in the room. The emotion was, the Ansar, they felt devalued. That here we are, we fought for the Messenger of Allah, and he cares about his people more, Qurayshis. He didn't address the technicalities and the policies. What did he address? The emotion. You see, I used to deal with a lot of parents and their kids who are in college going away to college. And so there will be a fight. Should I go out of state or stay in the state? So parents will argue, no, there's a good college even in our state. Why do you have to go away to college? And there'll be a big fight. And I used to go in the house, especially back in days. Can you come over? We're having these arguments. I would sit down and listen to both sides. So the son will talk about, the daughter will talk about, it's a good program. This is good for my major. And the father and the mother will talk about, no, it's too much money. Actually, the school here is really good. What no one is talking about is the emotion in the room. The emotion is the son and the daughter wants to go away to college because they just want to be independent. And the mother and the father, what they're not saying is that they're a little afraid for their little son and the little daughter, that they feel a little scared and nervous that they're going to go away to college. But no one is saying that. They're talking about technicalities. Business partners. I have business partners sometimes negotiate, and they'll talk about, I don't think you're doing enough. I think you're not doing enough. Okay, you didn't send that email. People are arguing about the email and the policies, yet the real feeling in the room is that I feel like you're not putting enough in this 50-50 partnership. But no one talks about the feeling. We just skip it all together and talk about the technicalities. If you want to connect with your children, You have to connect with them at an emotional level. You have to be able to connect with them at an emotional level. What is the feeling in the room? Number 3, you have to be able to express your love, express your appreciation. You find in the hadith, Rasulullah he talks to Mu'adh, and he says, "Ya Mu'adh, I love you." In the famous narration, he's sending him off to Yemen. A beautiful narration, and he goes out to the outskirts of Medina, and Mu'adh realizes this is the last time he will meet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he says, "Ya Mu'adh, asa Allah talqani ba'da hada, perhaps this is the last time we'll meet. You'll come back, you'll see my grave, you'll see my masjid, but I'm not going to be here." And the love that they had, Rasulullah expressed it. He said, "Mu'adh, I love you." Expressing the feeling that you have, not just love. I know a lot of you say, "I love you," and your son and daughter say, "Love you." That's just one word. A little beyond that. I want to take you one step beyond that. It's not just the love. You have to express a little more. Imam Hanifa was walking in the marketplace, and Ash-Sha'bi, he was a scholar at that time. He looked at Imam Hanifa. At that time, Imam Hanifa was just a regular kid. His father was a silk merchant, and Imam Sha'bi looked at him and said, "Who do you sit around? Who do you go to?" He said, "I go to the market." And Imam Sha'bi said, "I see a lot of potential in you, young man. I see a lot of good in you. Sit with the scholars." That little word of encouragement, pointing something out, being able to point out the thing that you do appreciate. I'll tell you something about giving positive feedback. You could say, "You know what, you're smart, you're intelligent." Even as a Muslim, forget parenting for a second. As a Muslim, we learn that, you're not supposed to praise people, right? You hear that? As the hadith, as even the ayat of the Quran. That's zakki anfusikum. Don't purify yourselves. Rasulullah is like almost you break the neck of your brother. Don't praise. But then you find other hadith where he is praising a companion. Aram ummati Abu Bakr. The most merciful ummah is Abu Bakr. And then you find him praising different companions. See, not all praises are the same. When you praise your kids, don't give blanket praises. When you send appreciation and thank, don't give blanket praises. There's a big difference. There was a study done. Pay attention very carefully. There was a study done in 1990 at the Columbia University. The psychologist by the name of Claudia Mueller. She studied 400 children between the age 10 and 12. Follow with me. And she studied kids from age 10 to 12. And what she did was she gave them a test. Organize some shapes, whatever, and put them in order. At the end, she gave them a grade. She gave everybody 80%. He said, "You all got 80. But she did not give everybody the score the same way. Some of them she said, "You kids, you got 80. Good job. You guys must be really smart. Wow." Okay. Another group, she said, "You guys got 80. Stony face." Okay, then the experiment continued. Then they said to the kids, "I'm going to give you another set of tests, but it's going to be a little harder. Do you guys want to do it?" Guess what? The kids who got a lot of praises, they didn't want to do it. They said, "I got praised once. I don't know, next time I might not do so well. I'm now afraid of not getting praised." And the kids who did not obviously get praised, got stony reaction, they want to do it. Matter of fact, they found the second test was a little harder. So the kids who got lower scores, because this time she gave the real score. First time around, she gave everybody 80, fake score. Second time around, she actually gave them real score. It was a little harder test. The kids who got lower score, they lied about their score to their other friends. Because they were told they were smart. Now they look at their grade, got a 60. I don't want to be not smart. And so they hit that score. And the third time around, she gave a test that was even more easier than the first test. And guess what? Kids who were praised, like, "You're so smart, you're too intelligent, you're amazing, you're just the best child ever," they actually did worse on the third test. Real study. But there was a third group that I didn't tell you about. This third group, they were praised, but they were told, "You got 80, you must have worked really hard to get that 80. And these kids, second time around, they were more interested to do a harder exam. And third time around, they did better in the test. What's the difference? What's the difference? Tell me, what's the difference between the first way of praising and the second way of praising? Yes?
I think he praised not the result, but the effort.
Excellent. Praise the effort, not the result. So you want to praise your children, yes, but not blanket praises. That's why not all praises are the same. Blanket praises were back in the days when the kings used to be there and the poet would come and say, oh, the amazing king, the Shah. That's what Rasulullah forbade. But a specific effort, even as a volunteer, you say, you know what? You did a good job with the event organizing. Jazakallah khair. That's a specific praise. That helps people. Not just as employees or organizers, and even your kids. You want to be able to give them a specific praise. When parents come to me and they say, my son doing this, doing that, I say, okay, all right, hold up. What are some things that he's doing well though? Give me that list. Let me work with that first. What are things that they're doing well? Teachers, I do trainings for teachers in public school sometimes. And I tell teachers, when you see in the classroom, one kid is making noises. What do teachers do? John, sit down, stop making noises. So the whole class stops and we all focus on John who's making noises. Guess what John thinks? I got all the spotlight. I train teachers to say, don't focus there. Focus on the kid who is not saying, no, Mike, wow, thank you so much. You've been sitting so quietly. Ignore the John. Just look at Mike and focus on that. And so you need to be able to focus on what is your child is doing right. Sometimes you have a kid who's doing a lot of stuff that's not going right. You're getting complaints from school. You're so focused on what he's not doing right, you forget what is doing right. Because we can build on what we're doing right. That's number 3. Number 4. And here I will need your help. Epic, you're going to help me out with this. Do we have any teenager here with their parent? Your father is here? Mother is here? Okay, good. I need you guys in a second. Okay. Number 4. What was that? I didn't catch that. Okay, no problem. Number 4. You have to be able to understand your teenager, your child. Understand them. At the Battle of Badr, the Muslims, they captured these kids. They were the water boys for the Quraysh army. They were kids who used to go with the army and they used to fetch water. So the Muslims, they captured them. They got them in the camp and they started questioning them to get intelligence. How many? How many in the army? Because they're trying to figure out the numbers. So these kids, small kids, they're getting frantic. Oh, a lot of people. Oh, a lot of people. And they're haggling them. And Rasulullah sees this. He stops them. He said, calm down. Because they're getting scared. They're not able to tell how many in the army. Because to kids, a lot of numbers is difficult. So Rasulullah turns around to his kids, calms them down and says, look, how many camel are they slaughtering per day? 10 camels. He said, okay, they're slaughtering 10 camels. Each camel feeds about 100 men. There's about 1,000 men. I want you to pay attention to this. You see, he understood that he was talking to a kid. And his intelligence, his processing power is not the same. What happens to you, your 5-year-old, lied about something, entire half an hour car ride, you give them a lecture on honesty. Only thing he got out of that conversation is your big eyes, your loud voice, and that I felt scared from mommy. That's all he got from the conversation. It made sense to you. You might even quote the hadith about lying. He said, don't your Sunday school teacher said this to you? But he didn't get nothing. Because you don't know who you're speaking with. Each age is different. When you're talking to an 8-year-old, their life is different. Talking to a teenager, life is different. A 30-year-old, life is different. 60-year-old, life is different. Each person are from a different category. Rasulullah never gave the same advice to same people, to different people. He had very specific. And so when you talk with your different age groups, sometimes, especially if you have kids, a range of kids from age 5 all the way to a teenager, you start treating everyone the same. They're not the same. The word you use. When I was talking to the kids, you think I was talking this slow? You guys are adults, and you guys' life is just want to chill and quiet in the suburb. So I'm talking very slow. I'm at your pace. When I was talking to the kids, I was loud. I was moving around the room. Different age, different energy level. I'm going to prove this to you. And I want to show you being able to see the side. I gave a TEDx talk a few years back. And they asked me to talk about me being a Muslim psychotherapist and having a Trump-supporting patient. That was my topic. This TEDx talk, you can find the TED website. So I talked about in this TEDx talk about me having a patient who was a Trump supporter, and me being a Muslim and being a clinician. How does that work? So I talked about, right after the election, he came into my office, and he's white, in his 50s, and he was so excited. Usually he's going through depression and so forth. That day he was happy. He said, I really feel like something big is happening in America. I'm really optimistic about our country. And here I am, a Muslim. Just 2 months prior to that, in my community, in New York, we had a sister that was stabbed, hate crime. We had an imam and his assistant that was killed and gunned down after Salat al-Zuhr. Here I am, thinking about Trump, and here he is. But I have to be able to work with him and work at where he's at. I have to be able to humanize him. When you read, you go to, you see all the comments, people that just hate Muslims. Or they put Trump picture with Jesus. Okay, I want you to go to their Facebook and check out their Sunday barbecue picture. See their grandchildren. Humanize them. When I tell this to other folks, they say Muslims and this. I say, Go check out their college graduation picture. Humanize them. When you work in New York, I work with diverse people from all different ethnicities, you start to appreciate human beings. Not everybody in this room are the same. You're not the same. Each of you have a different story in your life. Why do I say all this? Because you have to be able to put yourself in the shoes of your children and see and look at the world from their end. If you want to negotiate, if you want to work out arguments better, not that you're going to agree with them, but you're going to have to be able to do that. So I'm going to demonstrate this to you. So raise your hand. We have someone that is here with their father, a teenager. Yes. Okay. So I need someone to volunteer. Who wants to volunteer? Just go for it. I know you want to. Let's make this happen. This is the part that I get up. Okay. Bismillah. You guys will be okay. So raise your hand again. Who's a teenager here, and you're with your parents here? Yes. Who's your father? Okay. Father and son, please come up. Father and son, please come up. You guys raise your hand. You guys can do it. Let's go. Bismillah. Okay. Let's go. Father and son, let's come on up. I'm going to give you guys 2 chairs. Oh, this is going to be interesting, all right? You guys will be okay. Bismillah. Look, I was telling this last night at the Islam Center Irving. I said, look, parenting is a skill. Communication is a skill. I can't sit here and lecture about it. Assalamu alaikum. I appreciate you pulling your father here, all right? Good job. All right, so I can't just talk about it, give you a lecture about it. It's like me sitting here saying, I want all of you to become Hafiz al-Quran. So I'm going to give you a lecture about Hifz. No, you're going to have to sit down and memorize. If you want to improve your parenting skills, your communication skills, you have to do something about it. You can't sit around. You can't just sit and listen to it, say, beautiful stories, brother, Jazakallah khair, amazing speech. That's not going to cut it. You have to do something. You have to move. All right. So, how are you feeling right now? Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah khair. I really appreciate it. Okay. Do we have more mics? Yes. Okay. Help me out here. Let's get a mic for him. Let's get a mic for him, if possible. So, okay, that's fine too. That's fine. That'll work. Take one mic. We're going to put it all together. What did we learn so far, folks? We learned 4 skills. I'll give you a brief. idea about the 4 skills, to be honest. What's the first skill? Find something to respect the person for. So even your kid who is a 7-year-old, you have to value her opinion. You might not agree with it, but get them involved in the discussion. Okay, what's number 2? Sisters? What is it? Respect was the first one. What was the second skill? Focus on the feeling. Focus on the feeling. What was number 3? What is it? Express appreciation, any kind of praise. Express it. Actually say it. And you say, no, my son knows. My son knows. No. You have to actually say it. You actually have to verbalize it. You might give them a gift. So you don't want to say it. So you're really happy with their score in school, but you give them a gift instead. You have to actually say it. Not just one word. MashaAllah. No, not that. A little more than that. Little beyond that. Little more words. Okay. And what's the last one? Understand, look at the world from their shoes. You might not agree with it. Again, that's a big point here. You might not agree with it. But I want you to be able to, whenever you have an argument with your teenager, be able to look at the world from their shoes first. Then, have the dialogue. Okay. Have you guys ever had a moment in the last month, last 1 week, or even a few months, that you had a little disagreement about something? You did. It's normal. By the way, the fact that they came up here, they probably have the least disagreements. Some of you in the corner who's hiding, you probably have the most. So he's probably pretty good as a father. I have a good feeling. Usually people come up in the front, they're pretty confident about their ability. Or they get pulled, unfortunately. But typically, they're actually doing pretty well. Now, we're going to talk about their problem, but just be sure that you guys probably have a little more. If I dug a little deep, all right. So I really appreciate it. You guys. So give me an issue, an argument that you guys had about a particular issue that recently that you guys both disagreed on, and then it was something that you guys didn't see eye to eye about.
Usually, I spend quite a lot of time with my friends more than my family recently.
Okay.
But I saw it as, oh well, I don't have a sibling, so I guess that's like my alternative. And I guess his view was, well, we're your parents, you should be more closer, something like that. Okay,
we'll pick up from there. So this is a typical issue that my son is spending too much time with his friends, especially for teenagers. So what do people do in New York? I mean, you go outside, take a train. How do you spend time with your friends? In the mall? Well, how do you spend time with your friends?
Yeah, just talking.
Oh, so you just being engaged with them. Okay, yeah. So that's on your Instagram, on your Snap, just social media, just on the phone. Okay, good, very good. All right. So obviously you disagree with the amount of time you're spending. Okay, very good, excellent. Being able to put yourself in their shoes. So for a moment, what is your name?
Faizan.
Faizan. And brother, what is your name?
Mubashir.
So Faizan and Mubashir, what they're going to do, just for a moment, they're going to switch roles. So he's going to become the son, okay, and he's going to become the father. So I'm going to ask some questions to make sure you guys are going to do some acting, right? You guys are ready for this? Okay. So how old are you?
I'm 43.
No, you're not 43. I told you you're him. How old are you?
17.
17. Very good. 17. MashaAllah. What's your name? Huh?
Faizan.
Your name is Faizan. MashaAllah. Okay. Very good. Very good. What school do you go to, Faizan?
I go to PASH. Plano is senior high
school. Oh, okay, very good. All right. Brother, what is your name, uncle?
Mubashir.
Okay. Mubashir, how old are you?
43.
And what do you do?
I work as a businessman.
As a businessman? Oh, very good. Okay. So let's talk about this issue that you're having with your son. All right. So let's talk about it. So what's happening? What's the issue?
Usually when my son comes home, the first thing he does is usually he goes upstairs. So me as a parent, I feel kind of sad because I feel like he appreciates his friends at this age more than my parents.
Okay.
His parents.
Okay, we'll get into that. So what's happening? What's your side of the story?
I just like to have fun with my friends, play games. so I'm not that close to my parents.
I see. You're not that close to your parents.
I can discuss things with my friends easily than my parents.
So, why is it that you want to spend more time with your friends?
I feel comfortable.
You feel comfortable, and how come you don't want to spend as much time with your parents or family?
I don't know. Probably they don't understand about games.
So
Like
they don't understand the
my
same topics as you would like to.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Why do you want to? Why do you want your son to spend time with you?
Well, I mean, he's my son, right? Father and son time. So, he's only gonna be here for like quite a while. Eventually, he's gonna get married. He's gonna have kids. I'm not gonna spend as much time as him. So I wanna cherish the moments that I do have with him.
Pause for a moment in the character. How do you feel when you hear your side of the story verbalized by your son, and he's trying to put himself in that picture? How does that make you feel?
I think he understands our, as a parent.
Yes.
He understands our emotions. But
Don't get about party yet.
okay.
Yeah. One step at a time. All right. So it's if you really, he really understands, and he understands your concern. Wow. Okay. And how about you? So, you as hearing your father, try to look at the world and picture, why is it that you're spending time? How did you feel hearing him?
I feel like he said it more materialistic. So he brought up games and whatnot, but I think it's more than that. We usually talk about like life lessons and more than that. Like even if we're shouting, right? It's usually like we're not just shouting nonsense.
That's true. What's the point of this back and forth exercise? They can negotiate, yes. They can talk. So I want you to say this. How do you think your father feels when... What's the feeling? And I said, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you. How do you think your father feels when you're not spending as much time? How does he feel?
Feels bad.
Bad is a very vague word.
Feels disconnected.
Disconnected. Well, disconnected is not a feeling. It's a description. But what's the feeling behind it?
I don't know any more words
Okay,
to
no,
describe.
you're doing pretty good, really good. So he feels like, your friends are way more valuable. And that there's no connection and So how does your son, do you think he feels when he feels the pressure to you have to spend time with family, you have to spend time with father? How does he feel, you think?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
If you really try to think about it.
what we try to do is we never tell him not to.
We're going into solutions and negotiations. That's a way more later
next
stage.
level.
Yeah. So we're just talking about how does remember we have to start with just feeling how does he feel? When you as a parent say then you have to spend time and you have to you're talking too much with your friends. How do you think he takes that?
He doesn't take it seriously, probably.
What's behind that? What's the feeling though? We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Yes. What's the feeling?
Again, it's just putting too much important about the friend cycle, regardless what they discuss. Spending excess amount of time on games. Okay. But we wanted him to be more use it responsibly.
Excellent. Remember we said respect, express the feeling, and then be able to. Okay. So I want you to tell me, what are some things that you appreciate about your father?
His hustle.
His hustle. Do you understand what he said? You understand? Okay. So you appreciate that he's a hardworking man. What else do you appreciate? Okay, that's fine. We don't want the mic to break now. Go ahead, yeah.
Look, he always puts family first.
So he's hardworking, puts family first. You appreciate that about him. Do you usually tell him that?
Not really.
You could tell him now. Tell him that, Dad, I appreciate your hustle, and I respect the hustle, and I appreciate that you put so much emphasis on the family. Tell him.
Well, I respect that you work really hard and work really hard to put food on the table and for the family.
What do you appreciate about your son? Of course, there are many things, but what is? Give me something specific. What do you appreciate about your son?
Most of the time, he listen when you tell him, he listen. But
no, don't get the butt part.
He go to off.
We're focusing on what you do appreciate.
He's a
specific.
He's a good child.
He's a good child.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
His studies, he does good at school.
So he's very academically. He's very strong.
Yep.
Okay. What else? Give me one more thing that you really appreciate about him.
Both Islamically and regular.
So you appreciate that he takes his faith seriously.
Yep.
You can tell him that. No, you can tell them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to let you know. We do tell them.
Okay, no, you tell them now. Just practicing. Yeah, fine. You're doing good.
That we are.
Not we.
I mean.
I know you do. That's what happens. You see, a lot of times, what do? We start this. It's fine, but you have to have an individual relationship with your son as well.
I don't want to go back home and then his mom saying, "Why only you?" So I need to include.
I see. He's only thinking long term. Okay, that's fine. But as a father, though, you have to have a relationship with him beyond your wife.
Yeah, I am proud of who you are, what you do at school, as well as the Islamically. I'm a proud father.
MashaAllah. Excellent. You might say, you know what? We still have the challenge. We need to negotiate how much time he's spending with his friends, how much time and he's not. So there's a little bit of thing to make. And by the way, you got some of you sitting in this room. They come up here and mashallah, jazakallah khair for being able to be honest and upfront and sharing. All of us are benefiting from this. And trust me, you're not alone. I'm sure there are parents here. How many parents here have similar issue? Raise your hand. Okay. Or you have some even more severe issue. There's a lot of us say yes. Absolutely. So you're definitely on the better end, alhamdulillah. But we appreciate you sharing. So we haven't even got the solution. But the focus here is that first it begins by this: understanding the person, being able to appreciate. Once you build this relationship, then you can negotiate. You can't start off on a different foot. You guys get my point? So we have to, of course, negotiate. So he has certain amount that he wants to do, certain amounts that he should be spending. So you tell me this: how much time do you think is appropriate? How much time is he spending now with friends? And what would you like for him to do ideally?
So you want me to say the facts?
Okay, let's not get too technical, right?
Yeah.
Let's keep it.
Well, what I want him to do is cut down some of those time,
right,
and spend for some other good things that he could do.
Okay.
That's all we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you feel like those good things might be. Do you agree right now that maybe you can improve in spending a little more time with the family? Do you agree with that? What do you think?
Yeah.
You do? Okay. We agree. So that maybe you might need to improve slightly in that area. Okay. So your father might have some point. Okay. Very good. So we're not going to get to 100% what you like, 100% what you like, but we'll get to a middle ground. It's possible. And that's all we need. Now, of course, so as they go home and they talk about it in the car and said, "Man, you embarrassed me." But they will know. I could tell you this, mashallah. I can already tell they have a very good relationship as son and father. There's a lot of potential here. Honestly, I see you guys.
A lot of potential.
And so do you. And inshallah, I think this can be a loving relationship. Don't you all agree? Absolutely. Jazakallah khair. All right, have a seat. Assalam. It's very good. All right, awesome. Beautiful. So, it's a little demonstration to put you out a little uncomfortable a little bit, but to show you that you need to focus on this. Be able to understand, be able to appreciate, express the words, and to be able to focus on the feeling before you get to negotiation. Before you get to discussing, okay, I don't like what you're doing, okay, then it needs to start with that. Even your kids, some people say, okay, this is good for teenagers, what about I have a 5-year-old? There is an entire therapy called play therapy. There are 5-year-old, 6-year-old, they come to the office, and only thing that the therapists do, as the kids are playing, they just make comments. They just make, looks like the Thomas train, you're really hitting it hard. They don't say stop hitting it, they just comment on it. Because they're teaching the kids how to reflect on their own. And this is true for even adults, right? You know what's interesting? That al-mu'min mir'atu al-mu'min, believers are like mirrors, right? When you go to a mirror tells you, fix your tie, fix your hairline, but it doesn't even say a word. It corrects you, but it doesn't say a word. There are more ways to change your kids by asking them questions and just letting them know what you're observing than you giving a long lecture. You can make, especially as your kids get older, just ask them questions. So, do you think that's a good idea? Okay. Why do you think so? Just keep asking them questions. But it requires a little patience. And it's more effective. It might feel good just to lash out. You know why it feels lash out? When you get angry, your body actually releases norepinephrine, which is actually like a painkiller. That's why you feel tension the whole day, or you don't feel so good, so you need some kind of something. It actually makes you feel good. That's why I don't know if as a young kids you guys used to fight or not, I'm not sure. But you used to get into a fight and you get cuts, you don't feel pain. Why? In that moment, you don't feel pain. You know why? Your body releases painkillers. So some of you get angry because you need painkillers. It's a way of, because you feel frustration, it's a way of feeling something. And especially some of you get angry because, suburbs are very boring, and so you need some excitement, so you create some excitement. Unfortunately, with unhealthy drama. So with that, I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this got us to think a little differently. My whole mission tonight was to shift your perspective a little bit. I'm not here to give you all the tools and techniques. I'm not a parenting expert. MashaAllah, in Dallas, you guys have very good people. You have some good experts and psychologists and family therapists. I'm not a family therapist. But I understand people. I understand from adults to young people. So my perspective was just to shift your orientation a little bit. Parenting-wise, you need to consult the experts, the family therapists that you have in Dallas. They can come give you lectures and more tips and techniques. But I want you to think a little differently. Just change your perspective. And this is not just for your kids. It works with your kids as young as 5, all the way to your teenager, to the people that you deal with. At work, at home, and anywhere. So I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that this was impactful, that you change your perspective slightly, and you can take on this journey, inshallah, to start to improve. You have to come from an optimistic place. You know what? Inshallah, you can make some improvement. It's possible. Every day I can improve slightly. And not just how I deal with my children, how I deal with my family members, how I deal with my colleagues at work, how I talk, how I listen. It can improve. You don't have to be stuck where you were 10 years ago. Every day you can learn. So inshallah, make dua for me, make dua for my family. I ask you, one of my brother-in-laws in Canada, he's suffering from cancer. I just got a text message. His surgery is next week. And so I ask you to make dua for him as well. May Allah give him shifa and a complete shifa, ajal kamila. And I pray Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless your communities and inshallah give you guys beautiful families. And there will be tough times, there will be difficulties, but inshallah you will progress. All right. Any thoughts or questions as I close up? Thoughts or questions?
Parenting manual?
Again, I'm not a parenting expert. So I can recommend some books for you. I can recommend some courses, and like I said, I'm sure if you ask the organizers here at this masjid, that you guys have some good people here in Dallas that I know of, and some good family therapists. So bring them in. My focus really on entrepreneurs and high performers. But my work with a lot of teenagers earlier in my career, that's how I sort of understand the mindset, and that's what I want to focus on, anyways. Any other thoughts or questions? Thoughts, questions? Yes. Anxiety or stress in school? Okay, that's a very good question. So dealing with anxiety or stress, there are a few layers to this thing. Anxiety or stress. Very quickly, if the anxiety, and I always give this little pre-thing before, if you have actual clinical anxiety, right, then you need to see a professional. But if it's a normal anxiety, all of us feel a little anxious, right? Overwhelmed, things going on. It's normal to feel anxious. It's normal to feel sad. Really, it's normal. When that sadness becomes too much, then you have depression. Now it's a clinical problem. When your anxiety is just normal, you're just dealing with things. When it becomes so much that you shut down, you're getting panic attack, now we're at a clinical level. So if it's just a normal level of stress, like let's call it, there are a few things you have to do. Number one is about why is it that you are so overwhelmed? First is a mindset issue. The mindset issue that I have to complete this, I have to go next, is this constant thinking there is an end. All of us is on a chase. All of us. I don't care, you're in a suburb or in a city, all of us in a chase. You know the chase is? You're a teenager. You're thinking, you know what? As soon as I can graduate, I've got to get to high school. And as soon as I get to college, my life will be just perfect. I should get to high school. And then you get to college, you say, you know what? No. As soon as I graduate from college, my life will be just perfect. And so you graduate from college. The teacher's difficult. Then you say, no. As soon as I get my first job, my life will be, at a good place. Then you get your first job. No, as soon as I can get married, and then my life will just okay. Then you get married. As soon as I can have my first kid, I think we'll be okay. Then you get a first kid. No, trouble tools, and as soon as they can get a little bit older and they could fend on their own, I think I'll be okay. We'll be at a good place. Then your sons and daughter become teenagers. No, teenage difficult in this country. As soon as they get little adults and they can be on their own 2 feet, I'll be at a good place. And then your teenagers become adults. Then you say, no, my grandkids. It never ends. If you think there's the end, there's no end till you reach Jannah. So if you think there's something you have to accomplish, there's some kind of destination you have to go to, that's how you'll get stuck. Right? And Surah Hadith talks about this. I'm sure you have had lectures or khutbah about this. It talks about this in depth, how we think there's all the stages, and then you think everything starts to turn yellow after a little bit, right? So number one, mindset, that there is no ending to this. The hustle continues. My brother is, mashallah, he appreciates hustle. So the hustle continues, number one. Number two, you have to have good balance. So maybe you're trying to do a little too much. This morning when I was at MLFA conference, I was talking to organizers and imams and so forth. I said, you're not superhuman. Some of us, we think we could add a lot of stuff in my schedule, endlessly. You can't. You can only do so much. You can only do how much you can do as a human being. I get the example that you're not going to tell me, you know what, Brother Muhammad, I'm so busy, I stopped going to bathroom. I stopped going to bathroom because I need to save time. Would you do that? You can't. Your body's going to make you go to bathroom. Same way you can't skip out on your workout. You can't skip out on taking vacation. You can't skip out. You can. You have to have it. It's ummah of balance. Just like in salah, you have to have tama'nina in every single ruku. You have to give it due right. Also in your life, you have due right in every area of your life. You have to give it due right. So balance. Number one, mindset. Number two, balance. Number three, be able to talk and have social life where you express your frustration and things with people, and it will give you relief. Have good friends and mentors you can express and say, that vent, and they will give you a good place. You have to express those things. Okay, so there's three things, a lot more, but 3 things I think will get you started in a good place. Any final thoughts or questions for anyone? We have a few more, but we're really going way over time than I expected. But go ahead, yes. The relationship between anger and? Oh, okay. So that's a side comment. Anger is a lot bigger topic. But what I mean is that we have to look at why you're getting angry. What is angry? And in my communication workshop that I do with Oak Tree, we have maybe spent 4 hours just on the anger. Because I know you have heard khutbahs about, la taghdab. Okay, how do I do it now? Don't get angry. It's from shaitan, okay, and? How do I do it? Too long we have had in the Muslim community lectures on things and we don't know how to implement it. Brothers, get rid of your bad habit. Make istighfar. And then, you still got the bad habit. There's actually a science of getting it done. You can't just say, we have to have halal banking and this is going to come out thin air. There's people that study banking and then come up with the system. Right? Same way, if you're going to say, don't get angry, there's a system to it. So one of the side comment I was making is that, anger, you have to see why you have the anger to begin with. Where is it coming from? One of the things that it comes from is your tension. What we call it, in psychology, we call it the masks behind your anger. There are a bunch of masks. With your anger, you're actually hiding something. Anger is a very visceral reaction. Above your anger is actually, below your anger is actually bigger things. For example, below your anger is actually your hurt. People don't want to feel hurt, so they get angry instead. Below your anger is actually your frustration. Below your anger is actually your worry. I saw one of my family older uncle, were at his daughter's wedding, and he's so angry. I was like, well, why is he angry? It's his daughter's wedding. Why is he like frantic all over the place? You realize underneath that, he is missing his daughter. He's thinking she's going to get married. He doesn't know how to react to that. So instead, he put on anger instead. You go to a town hall meeting. Some ammu gets up. Brother! And he starts shouting. He says, wait, you just have feedback. Why are you yelling? Why are you so angry? Because he's self-conscious. In front of a lot of people, so he's getting up to make a comment. So automatically, to cover his insecurity, we get angry instead. Anger is a mask. Below that, there's a lot of feelings. Now, that's just one angle. There's a whole discussion on how do you actually control it, and a whole different discussion. There's a step-by-step plan, and how you manage it. Anger is an emotion Allah gave you. It's good sometimes. You need it sometimes. But sometimes, a lot of times, very harmful. So you got to know how to have balance in that. Okay? Final thought. I think we're over time. I'm holding you guys. So any final thought? That's it? Good? Jazakallah khair. If you can feel free, if I can be of help to you in any way, if you will connect with us on Oak Tree and on my email, Facebook, and so forth like that, inshallah, no problem. You can find on Facebook Hassan Psychology and things like that. And of course, Brother Rami is here in Dallas. Inshallah, we can try to be of help. But mashallah, you have very good experts in Dallas, and you have mashallah amazing youth director, and can, of course, they can be of help, inshallah. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Muhammad, for the very, very informative session. I hope that it was beneficial to everyone. Inshallah, we are planning, Epic Youth, we are planning to have a monthly parenting workshop or session like this. This was the first of them, so inshallah, every month we'll bring in a professional, whoever it is, like Sheikh Yasser, and so many others who are very involved in parenting and very experienced. So this is one thing that we want to start. And Brother Muhammad is very active on Facebook and on YouTube and Oak Tree Institute. We're going to definitely have Brother Rami, and also Brother Muhammad, inshallah, come back and do sessions also again for the youth and for the parents. This was excellent. Jazakallah khairan, Rami, for organizing this for us. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you and bless your institute. Jazakallah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.